Hey, it's all with another video. This is coming off stream. I'm obviously being lazy about this, but today I wanted to talk about professions in patch 8.2 Rise of Ashara. And this is kind of a single issue thing. I'm not going to talk very generally about, I'm not going to talk very specifically about certain professions and how this and this is going. I'm going to talk about one of the most important critiques that I personally have about professions, and that is the fact that I have to go into a raid in order to make stuff. That kind of sucks. As you may know already in patches 8.1, or in the raids so far in BFA, there's certain reagents like the Sanguicell or the Breath of Bwonsamdi that you need to have in order to craft certain things, notably things like mythic gear and everything. So let me pull up like blacksmithing, one of the upcoming recipes that's coming in the patch here. So as we can see here, Banded Osmanite Girdle. This is a item level 440 thing, which by the way is not mythic item level. Mythic item level is 445, but maybe I'll talk about that a little bit later. But you can see here that the reagent requirements is just ore from Nazjatar and ore from everywhere else. Here's the thing though, it may be a little bit hard to see here. Maybe I'll try to zoom it in or something, but this also requires a radiating Abyssal Focus. What the heck is that? If we look at some of the lower items, this also requires the radiating Abyssal Focus. This one requires an empowered Abyssal Focus, and if we go a little bit lower, we go into a restored Abyssal Focus. So what the heck is this? The Abyssal Focus is this right here. Oh, actually, it's not. It's a broken Abyssal Focus. So let's just call this the anvil. This is the 8.2 anvil that you will require in order to craft some of these higher level recipe items, such as normal, heroic, almost mythic gear. And just to note, let me pull up engineering really quick, because engineering is able to create Azeroth gear. They are the only profession that can create item level 445 gear, at least as far as I'm seeing. So the thing is, you need this Abyssal Focus at some level, and there are 3 levels to it. So it's kind of like Blizzard is shifting the requirement of a special reagent, not from the recipes as we've seen in the previous raids and crafting tiers, over to this anvil, basically. So what the heck do you get Abyssal Shards? I can go into a vendor somewhere here. I believe it's this person here. So right here is the Abyssal Shard, and I'll read the text here. Typically carried by mighty entities within Nazjatar, these shards contain a wealth of power. So guess what? The Abyssal Shards are in fact the raid reagent for patch 8.2. So the fact that we see this on a vendor is pretty interesting. We see that Abyssal Shards go for a whopping 5 prismatic monopearls, and prismatic monopearls are they're the currency that is used for a bunch of different things in this patch, from buying essences to buying rewards to upgrading benthic gear. It's kind of the catch-all, and so it makes this resource pretty important depending on who you are. So as a crafter, and I happen to be both a blacksmith and an engineer, there are a lot of things that I can potentially make. So it's kind of nice that I'm able to buy these resources with prismatic monopearls if I wanted to, but of course I raid as well. So I'm going to presume this heavily relies on the assumption that Abyssal Shards can be acquired from the raids, and if not, that's going to be pretty rough, but I'm going to assume that that's so. But for someone who doesn't bother doing raids and whatnot, they can still just buy these shards. It's just that they would instead need to invest their time and their monopearls into buying these shards so that they can upgrade their anvil right here. What's cool is that once the anvil is upgraded to a certain point, then you can freely craft things with the normal recipes as you're seeing, like right here. It does require the Abyssal Focus, as you can see with this particular pair of goggles, but it only requires ore and platinum. In this case, the cost requirements do in fact go up, but as well as the anvil kind of requirement. So I expect a similar sort of flow in this sense. You know, you'll require a certain number of these shards in order to upgrade your anvil or Abyssal Focus to what you want it to be. And you have the option of doing of raiding, of using monopearls, or both. The one thing that we don't know, unfortunately, because obviously the season hasn't started and the raid hasn't opened up yet, is the rate at which we acquire these abyssal shards. Which is going to be faster? Is there a difference in efficiency? If it takes 5, I'm sorry, I think it was 15. If it takes 15 abyssal shards to upgrade your anvil to the first level, okay, cool. Then I can make it. Then I can make these items freely, like as I want. That's not much of a problem. And by the way, once again, these items are bind on pickup. This is something that you craft for yourself. One thing that I'm curious about too is if you're able to join someone's party. Let's say if someone else has a complete anvil, can I join that person's party and otherwise share in the goodness of their anvil? Probably not, but that's at least the question that I would pose. So there are good things and bad things about the Abyssal Shard system. I do like the fact that I'm able to buy these, that there's a path for me. Before, with the Sanguicell and the Breath of Bwonsamdi, it felt almost impossible to acquire these because I think off the top of my head, you only get one of those reagents per boss kill, whereas Heroic, you get like 10, and Mythic you get that much more. In this case, at least there is a path through doing alternate content, as in doing world content, to eventually get these Abyssal Shards. The problem that I still have, though, actually, let me walk that back. Another thing that I do like is that this whole anvil crafting thing, it's a one-time thing. I'm not going to need to continually farm for Abyssal Shards to create more and more of these things. I just have to do it like I could just do it kind of as a one-time thing. And once I have things upgraded, cool, I can freely craft stuff without having to worry about, oh shucks, I have this and now I have to go back into the raid and get more stuff. I could just, make what I want once I'm able to. The problem that I still have with something like this, though, is that it doesn't quite celebrate the kind of player or the kind of character who is exclusively a crafter. It's not something that WoW really does. I can't exactly be just a blacksmith. I mean, cool, I'm a paladin, but what if I was just a blacksmith? Is it possible for me to level exclusively or to experience content or to get to where I am strictly off of my profession? And the answer is no. But cutting to even now, it would be cool. It would feel cool if I was able to acquire these Abyssal Shards. Basically, I'm saying I want Abyssal Shards to not be soulbound. That's really it. If they were much harder to acquire, if the player economy can be involved, and it was up to me to just buy them off people or to or something like that, and then I can create the stuff, I would feel a little bit more fulfilled there. Of course, the entire point of this Abyssal Focus is centered on gear that is also bind on pickup, so that's a little bit counterproductive too. Overall, I mean, I do like that. I do kind of like this. It's not exactly stepping forward or stepping back. It's kind of like sidestepping. They're kind of improving on a process that I would say that many fans aren't a big fan of because of the inability to acquire these sorts of things from the auction house or via trade or something like that. So that's pretty much all I've got. So if you got any thoughts on this, share it in the comment below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay happy, and as always, stay breezy.